Acceptable Use Policies by Elena Grubb. An acceptable use policy is a written policy that outlines how a school, organization, or business expects its users to interact with technology. Most companies and schools have an AUP that's unique to them. Depending on the organization, AUPs can vary widely. They may differ in length, content, and/or wording. However, many of them include sections that define acceptable behavior, forbid certain behaviors, list consequences for breaking the rules, and address rules for certain hardware and software. It's important for schools to have an acceptable use policy to protect students, staff, and the school from inappropriate technology use. The safety and security of students and staff should be at the top of every school's list. Having an AUP allows students to use technology safely. They help protect the privacy of students and staff. AUPs not only protect people, but the school's hardware and network as well. They forbid downloading harmful viruses, phishing programs, etc. that could harm the school's network and devices. AUPs help create responsible users and creators of technology by teaching students to be trustworthy digital citizens. They explicitly outline acceptable and unacceptable use of technology, as well as consequences for inappropriate behavior. At St. John's Parish Day School, we have 3 distinct AUPs. The first and most lengthy is the staff document, which staff members are required to sign at the beginning of the school year. We have 2 different student documents, which are similar in content, but use different vocabulary and language. One document is geared towards students in kindergarten through 3rd grade, and the other is geared towards students in 4th and 5th grades. Again, all students are required to sign the appropriate document at the beginning of the year. The staff document can be found on our school's server and in a binder in the Media Center, while a student document is only posted in the Media Center. The staff AUP begins with a broad overview detailing guidelines for general computer and technology use, network, and email use. A list of actions that are not permitted is listed in the next section, along with a statement about consequences that could result from inappropriate use. The AUP forbids using obscene language, accessing or downloading inappropriate content, harassing others, and violating copyright laws, among other things. Consequences include a loss of access and/or legal action. The document then moves on to discuss guidelines for specific types of hardware, for example, desktops, laptops, and digital cameras. It discusses checkout policies, proper care of equipment, and recommendations to protect equipment. The first student AUP is for students in kindergarten through 3rd grade. The language is simple and can easily be understood by a 5-year-old. This 1-page document contains 8 guidelines for students to follow. The policy focuses on not sharing personal information, staying on approved sites, and being respectful on the internet. The second AUP is written for students in grades 4 and 5. It's a short 1-page document, and although the language is more sophisticated, it can be easily understood by 9-year-olds. The 10 guidelines focus on plagiarism, security and safety, and digital citizenship. Ensuring that staff, students, and parents are informed on the policies is critical to proper implementation of the documents. Staff should receive a copy of the AUP as a hard and soft copy. The policy should be communicated to the staff during a meeting, and they should be given a chance to ask for clarifying questions. Students should be given explicit instruction on the policy in class at the beginning of the year and multiple times throughout it. It should also be posted in areas where technology is present. The AUP should be included in the school handbook for parents to review. Parents should also sign their child's AUP to ensure that they know the guidelines for their child. Teachers are responsible for communicating the school's acceptable use policy to the students. They should make sure to explicitly explain the policy in depth at the beginning of the school year. Special care should be taken to review the AUP multiple times throughout the year as well. Clarification of the different statements should be made to help students fully understand the policy. Using examples, providing pictures, and telling stories will help students make connections and clarify unknown terms. Students should also be taught relevant computer terminology to help with the understanding of the AUP. They should be introduced to responsible digital citizenship, including safe, legal, and responsible use of information and technology. It's important to promote digital citizenship across the classroom. As technology becomes more prevalent in the home and in the classroom, creating responsible digital citizens becomes more and more important. Students should be made aware of cyberbullying and its effects. A classroom discussion about ways to prevent it and how to stand up to cyberbullying is critical. It's also important to teach students to promote a positive self-image of themselves online. Students should be made aware of the fact that once something's out on the web, it's out there forever. Teaching students to think carefully before posting an image, comment, or information may save them from problems in the future. A discussion on etiquette will help promote digital citizenship. Teachers should explain common courtesies and norms when interacting online, such as avoiding all caps when communicating, refraining from profanity, and respecting the privacy of others. Students should also be taught how to be ethical digital creators. Projects should include accurate, non-invasive, and respectful information. Teaching about copyright laws and plagiarism is another way to promote digital citizenship. Students should be taught how to cite sources and why it's important to give credit to authors. Under the ISTE standards, teachers should advocate, model, and teach safe, legal, and ethical use of digital information and technology, including respect for copyright, intellectual property, and the appropriate documentation of sources. In order to follow these guidelines, teachers must be knowledgeable about copyright laws. Computers should be for school purposes only, and teachers should be careful about what sites they visit and what they download from the internet. Being respectful online and acting as a responsible digital citizen will make sure that they are meeting the requirements of the school's AUP. As you can see, developing and implementing acceptable use policies in a school setting is a necessary step to ensuring the online safety and security of staff, students, and parents.